The Seattle Seahawks are going to be a good team. This proves it, what I'm about to talk about. And if you're new to our channel, we make videos for teams that don't get the love nationally like they should. The Seattle Seahawks, one of those teams. They're going to be really good. National media is just kind of forgetting about them. I don't know if it's because of Geno Smith, whatever, but we're Detroit Lions fans. Our main channel is Sports Talk Detroit. Check that out. But we also have this channel. And let me know, Seattle Seahawks fans, before we get started, who is your all-time favorite? I'm just curious on this Seattle Seahawk player. For me, from afar, I always like Cam Chancellor just because he looked sweet and he was good, but he just looked like super cool. And he was in there in the prime of the Seattle Seahawk run. So that's like, because you could say Russell or Marshawn or Sean Alexander, but I'm more of a Cam Chancellor guy myself. So Seattle Seahawks have a rookie that's going to be starting in a role that proves that they're going to be good. Here's what I mean. Let me pull up the story. So Mark Schlereth is a Fox analyst, and he was at practice, and he was looking at different things. And one of the things that came up was how Devin Witherspoon is seeing the bulk of his playing time at nickel. So he's going to be a starter. He's going to be the nickel starter, nickel cornerback, rather than outside corner. People are kind of complaining, kind of saying like, hey, we wish he could be more of an outside guy. Like, what's going on? But Schlereth nails it. What a great problem to have. Couldn't agree more. Let's take a look at it. You look at the depth chart, and here's what you have. I did a video on this before. Michael Jackson, a guy that kind of bounced around the league, but last year played really well for the Seattle Seahawks. Then they draft Devin Witherspoon. Michael Jackson says, hey, not so fast. I'm still really good. He's having the best training camp of anybody. So you have Michael Jackson. So this is ESPN's depth chart, just kind of thrown in there. It's not like super accurate. As Witherspoon's gotten healthy, Michael Jackson and Woolen are the corners. And Witherspoon is going to be slot corner. He's going to get time outside, but it just shows you the depth that the Seattle Seahawks have in the secondary. Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs with the Lions. He was one of the best safeties the Lions have ever had. He was so good, solid, and we trade him away. Jamal Adams, hopefully he can rebound. Wagner, defensive line. I mean, you just start looking at the defenses. Defense looks good. I don't see anything on the defense. Then offense, you know the story there. Offense just keeps getting weapons. So, but Witherspoon, let's get back to him. Schlereth said you're essentially replacing the weak side linebacker, the will. So you've got to be a force player. You've got to have your run fits. You've got to know exactly what you're doing. You've got to be able to read the tight ends. You got to be able to read the tackles. You've got to be able to do all of those things. You've got to be able to understand the kind of drops, spatial awareness, and in zone coverage stuff. And then you've got to play man, and you got to be able to have a two-way go. You don't have the sideline to force a guy out of bounds and use that space as the boundary as an extra defender. So he's saying, as a nickel cornerback, if you've got that responsibility and you get put into that, you're probably a pretty good player, right? It's not something you just like, all right, we need another corner. Let's put him in at the nickel. You have to be kind of a hybrid type guy. You've got to be able to play the run. You've got to have that two-way go here. You're going to have little quick slot receivers. You may have a tight end, so you got different things working that you have to go against. So Schler said that talking in offensive coordinators, he's learned that they look immediately to who is at the nickel and whether they can exploit them in either the run or pass game. So Witherspoon, I love Witherspoon. As a Lions fan, I truly wonder, you'll never know, if we were really targeting Witherspoon, because the very next pick we trade out of there. I think we were. I think Witherspoon's that good. Also, I'm a Michigan fan, so Witherspoon was at Illinois, played Michigan, and he jumped out when Illinois played Michigan. If you remember, Michigan won by 1 point against Illinois. They were tough, physical, and he was the leader, no doubt about it. So I think Witherspoon just brings an element to the Seattle Seahawks defense that they absolutely need. So Schler said, when I keep reading these articles, what's going on? I'm like, what a great problem you have. All of a sudden, you've got a little cat that's 185 pounds, isn't afraid to hit people. No, he's not. Great instincts and run support stuff and cover man. What a find this is. Absolutely. Can play zone, can play man, can rush, can play the run. He can do everything. So he's actually the best. So Schlereth points it out perfectly here. In some ways, you have to have that nickel cornerback has to be really, really good. If not, offensive coordinators are looking to exploit that. But if you've got a really good nickel corner, now the advantage is to the defense, because man, you've got a guy that can play the run, the pass, can do everything for you. So the Seattle Seahawks are a team that nobody is really truly paying attention to. I get it. They're in the NFC West. You've got the 49ers to compete with. The Niners are always going to be tough. You got Geno Smith. Was that a 1-year fluke thing? Is he good? What's the deal there? But you've added so many good pieces that I just don't see how this could fail. Let me go back. Let's take a look at this offense again. Kenneth Walker only going to get better. DK Metcalf, Lockett's always going to be there. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Noah Fant. I mean, gee whiz, it's just one after another. Then you've got the offensive line, Evan Brown, Olu Oluwatimi. I made a video on that as well. The best center in college football last year played at Michigan. You get him in the 5th round. You get Evan Brown from the Lions, who played a ton of football at guard and center. The last 2 years, he was basically our starter at center and guard on one of the best offensive lines in the league. You pick him up to be your center. A lot of good plays, a lot of good moves by the Seattle Seahawks, and that's why the excitement is there. And again, you're in a manageable, I was careful how I say this, a manageable division. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on that. Manageable division. Can you win the division against the 49ers? That's going to be key. Also, I asked you in the beginning of the video, who was your favorite all-time Seattle Seahawk? Would love to hear some old-timer names, like guys I have never even heard of. Seattle, I love just the silver. It's not even silver. Like, what color is that? It's like a chrome. It's like a car that hasn't been painted color is the silver. Back in the silver days, I love that. Sean Alexander, loved him. Hasselbeck, I did not hate him. I liked him. But Cam Chancellor was a guy that I loved. And, remember Cam Chancellor had that punch out of Kelvin Johnson on the 1-yard line. That'll just never, it's just like, that was the Lions back then. Just this close all the time, and could never win when you needed them to. And that Cam Chancellor punch out at Seattle was the classic play that just happened to the Lions all the time. So shout out to the Seahawks. Love the Seahawks and Lions. They get along. They're in good shape. Everybody's happy. We don't cause each other too much problems. Seattle beat the Lions last year, but it was a back and forth. Again, it's like, don't even hate the Seahawks, but Seahawks come to the Lions again in week 2 this year. And it's going to be, oh man, it's going to be a big, big game early in the season. Can't wait to see that. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next one.